Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for more peanut putter next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Winston from Overwatch. Pretty straightforward character here, just a hyper-intelligent gorilla from the moon. I'll probably just make him a variant human fighter, right? Ha 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 ha, big laugh, but he's not a fighter. He's a scientist.
I'm looking for something for my daughter.
Your daughter?
Yeah, safe, slow.
Hey, Lord. I have contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves!
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to jump around with big old jumps like we're always on the moon. Next, we need lightning with a big heckin' taser to mess up the enemy's plans. Finally, we need to go bananas, turning big and angry before smacking the enemies around like a true gorilla. Scientist. For stats, we'll be using the standard point buy from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure you got the big brain. Intelligence will be 15. Your dad always made sure you did your homework, and the home in homework is science based on the moon, so you had a pretty solid education. Strength and constitution at 13, you're pretty strong and pretty thick. Dexterity at 12, despite your big boy status, you are pretty quick. Wisdom and charisma can hang out around 10. You're not bad at reading people or talking, but you're not great at it either. You can't be a gorilla in Dungeons & Dragons, so it's a good thing you're not a gorilla. Use custom lineage for a feat like Skill Expert, giving you +1 to an ability score of your choice. Intelligence is good because, you need that. You can grab another skill for free like Persuasion to get the team back together, and Expertise in a skill like Arcana, which we'll get in a few seconds. Bump your intelligence even higher with your 2 free points. Take Athletics for your skill of choice, and the Sage background for Arcana and History. I told you we were gonna get it. Why don't you trust me yet? We'll kick things off as an Artificer, letting you grab 2 skills from the Artificer list, like Investigation and Sleight of Hand, to bamboozle Reaper with your busted shield generator. Speaking of that, you're a magical tinkerer, letting you put tiny magical effects in tiny non-magical things. It could be a little message, a puff of smoke, or a little stink. Imagine turning an empty jar of peanut butter into a cell phone. That's some ingenuity. You can cast spells and cantrips. Shocking Grasp will let you use that taser at level 1. It's a melee spell attack, dealing 1d8 lightning damage to creatures you hit, and they can't take reactions, letting you either jump away or bailing out one of your buddies. Thunderclap lets you put your thickness to work when you land, forcing a constitution saving throw on creatures within 5 feet of you, dealing 1d6 thunder damage to those that fail. Speaking of big old jumps, the jump spell triples your jump distance for a minute. I get this question a lot. Tulok, why do you give so many characters the jump spell so quick? FAQ, get your pen and paper ready. I'll give you a second. Are you ready? Lots of characters can jump good. Featherfall lets you reduce falling damage for up to 5 falling creatures as a reaction. Eventually we'll be doing total moon jumps that could shatter your knees. This will make sure that they only shatter the people below you. Second level Artificers get infusions, little toys to make you and your squad better. Enhanced defense adds 1 to the AC of a set of armor, like your armor. You have armor. If you'd rather just lift big stuff in your lab, Armor of Magical Strength lets you add your intelligence modifier to a strength check or not fall prone 6 times per day. We won't need this later, but for now it's a solid way to basically have another solid ability score. Enhanced Arcane Focus adds 1 to the attack rolls with a spellcasting focus, and you can ignore up to half cover for some lightning that goes around corners a little bit better. And Enhanced Weapon adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a weapon. Now if only we had a weapon that dealt lightning damage and used our intelligence modifier. Third level Artificers can get a ranged weapon that deals lightning damage and uses your intelligence modifier if they become an armorer. This will give you heavy armor proficiency and the ability to ignore strength requirements with it. You can also choose an armor model. For you, Infiltrator is the way to go. This will increase your movement speed by 5 feet. You have advantage on stealth checks unless your armor is heavy, then you're just neutral instead of having disadvantage, which is still better. And you get a lightning launcher, which is a ranged weapon that deals 1d6 lightning damage and an extra d6 of lightning damage once per round. You can even use your intelligence modifier with it. That's lovely. This also lets you learn Thunder Wave, which lets you force a constitution saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube, dealing 2d8 thunder damage to those that fail and pushing them back 10 feet, half damage and no pushing if they succeed. Jumping people off of the map is hilarious and requires much more skill than a simple boop from Lucio. Fourth level Artificers get an ability score improvement. Capping off your intelligence modifier right away is pretty fantastic, making your spells and weapons as good as they can be. Well, almost as good. Fifth level Armorers get extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action to keep spraying that electricity all around to anyone who wants it, or I guess more accurately people who don't want it. For this level spell, Shatter lets you force a constitution saving throw on creatures in a 10-foot radius sphere, dealing 3d8 thunder damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. I always thought it was a little unfortunate that you don't get any broken shield shield generators to explode like Winston gets in that cinematic against Reaper. It seems really useful, but at least your D&D version of Winston will get it. Enlarge Reduce makes a creature larger, gives them advantage on strength checks and saves, and their weapons deal an extra d4 of damage. Custom Lineage makes you medium-sized, and that is definitely not accurate. You could also force a Wisdom saving throw on a creature to make them smaller and take the opposite effects, but that's not really a Winston thing. 6th level Artificers get Tool Expertise, giving you expertise with all the tools you're proficient with. That's Tinkerers, Thieves, Smiths, and another one of your choice. Calligraphy will take you to the moon. Get your stonks in. Is that still relevant now? You also get 2 more infusions. Spell Refueling Ring lets you recover a spell of 3rd level or lower once per day, basically just an extra spell slot, and hey, who doesn't want that? Resistant Armor gives you resistance to acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, poison, psychic, radiant, or thunder damage. One of the characters can shoot rockets down from the sky. That seems a little unfair, but shutting down fire damage, that's a-okay. 7th level Artificers get Flash of Genius, letting you add your intelligence modifier to an ability check or saving throw of a creature within 30 feet of you, an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. Use that big brain to get the shot caller endorsement. What a great addition to the game that was. It definitely didn't inspire a bunch of people who are already toxic, demanding buttheads to be even more obnoxiously commanding of everyone else on the team. Boy, I love playing online with strangers. 8th level Artificers get another ability score improvement or a feat. The Fighting Initiate feat will let you grab a fighting style, like Unarmed Fighting, to fight unarmed. That'll let you deal 1d6 plus your strength modifier with your unarmed attacks, 1d8 if you have 2 free hands, and deal a d4 of damage to a creature you have grappled once per round. Sometimes you just want to go bananas, and when we do eventually go bananas, we'll want to hit things without a weapon. But for that, we need a class that can really open up the potassium power. Obviously, Barbarian is going to be the best class for you, because 1st level Barbarians can grab 3 more cantrips. Lightning Lure lets you force a strength saving throw on creatures, failing that, they're brought closer to you and take 2d6 lightning damage. Normally, I would want to get close to Winston, he seems nice, but I wouldn't want to be electrocuted. Decisions. Message lets you whisper something to someone 120 feet away from you, and they can whisper back. TeamSpeak is slightly more fun as a tank than a healer. Slightly. Mending will be useful in the lab, putting 2 pieces of something back together or fixing a crack in something. Broken beakers are now a thing of the past, as long as they break into 2 clean pieces. For your 1st level spells, Shield adds 5 to your AC as a reaction for the first of our many bubbles. Long Strider lets you give a creature an extra 10 feet of movement speed. If you're going to take one giant leap on behalf of mankind, you do need the extra movement speed. Expeditious Retreat lets a creature dash as a bonus action for up to 10 minutes. Pair that with Long Strider to go extra fast. Cause Fear forces a Wisdom saving throw on a creature, failing that, they're frightened of you for up to a minute, depending on your concentration. Imagine you're a sextagenarian sniper medic and a gorilla dropped down on you while you were trying to stay hidden. That's pretty scary. Absorb Elements lets you give yourself resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage as a reaction, then deal an extra d6 of that damage with an attack next round. Really, I just want the resistance. Shields are pretty important to you. Speaking of that, Protection from Evil and Good gives creatures protection from aberrations, celestials, elementals, fiends, fae, and undead. The weird stuff has disadvantage on attack rolls against your buddy and can't charm, possess, or frighten them. There's a couple of undead running around the Overwatch world, and they are some tough customers. Multi-classing spellcasters isn't that hard. Just check page 165 of the player's handbook to figure out how many spells you have at any given level. All Barbarians also get Arcane Recovery, letting you recover a number of spells equal to half your wizard level on a short rest. Wait, wizard level? This is a wizard, not a barbarian! Let's talk about why. Barbarians can't rage in heavy armor. Winston gets angry in heavy armor. I thought I was going to need a whole section for this, but I mean, it's a one sentence thing. So we're just going to move on now. 2nd level wizards can choose a school. The School of Abjuration will give you better bubbles. First, you get an Arcane Ward. Whenever you cast an Abjuration spell, a 1st level or higher, you get a shield that protects you from an amount of damage equal to twice your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. Oh, that's another reason we didn't go Barbarian. If we wanted to bubble, we'd have to go Ancestral Guardian, and that could only drop a bubble while we're raging, which is the opposite of how Winston's bubble works. For this level spell, Comprehend Languages lets you understand all spoken and written languages. I'm sure Winston can access Google Translate. Overwatch is an international organization after all. Detect Magic lets you sense magical auras and the type of magic causing them. If you sense necromancy, do not go in that room. There is a very disgruntled former employee in there. 3rd level wizards can learn 2nd level spells. Magic Weapon makes a weapon magical in terms of overcoming resistances and adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of it for an hour. You don't just make yourself better, you make the whole team better. That's so great. Dark Vision gives a creature 60 feet of dark vision for 8 hours. You're not on Blackwatch, but McCree is, and he's not superhuman. He's just southern. Give him some dark vision. 4th level wizards get another ability score improvement. Round up your strength and constitution. You get no benefit from having odd numbers on your sheet, and strength will help you hit harder with your hands when you're going bananas. For this level spell, knock breaks a lock off its hinges. It's also really loud, but explosives tend to be. If anyone locks you down, show them the ape escape. Enhance ability gives a creature advantage on skill checks of a certain type. If you choose strength, their carrying capacity doubles. If you choose dexterity, they don't take falling damage from heights of 20 feet or less. And if you choose constitution, they get 2d6 temporary HP. Now you have 2 ways to get advantage on strength checks, helping you make up for the mediocre score. 5th level wizards can learn 3rd level spells. Counter spell shuts down spells of 3rd level or lower automatically. Higher level spells with an intelligence check of 10 plus the spell's level. There's nothing more satisfying than when a Reaper's ult is a few die short. Dispel magic is the same thing, but as an action instead of a reaction. It can remove multiple effects. Solutions are always within reach, especially when you have very long arms. 6th level abjuration wizards get projected ward, letting you use your bubble to protect your allies within 30 feet of you. I thought about resilient sphere, but you can't fire out of it. I thought of a level 6 paladin dip, but the rest of that didn't make sense because, we'd have to be more charismatic for that. Projected ward is just the best way to do Winston's bubble. And Thunderstep is a great way to do his leap. Actually, it's kind of backwards. Force a constitution saving throw on creatures within 10 feet of you, dealing 3d10 thunder damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed, then teleport up to 90 feet away, and you can even bring a buddy with you. Brigitte could be helpful, she can heal. Sending lets you send a message to any creature on the same plane as you of 25 words or less. Don't be afraid to rehearse it a few times, the fate of the world is at stake after all. 7th level wizards can learn 4th level spells. Locate creature lets you know where a creature is of a certain type, or a specific creature within 1,000 feet of you. If they're moving, what direction they're moving in. Bad guys sneaking up on you? Not anymore, you were prepared for that. Elemental Bane forces a constitution saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they take an extra 2d6 of a type of elemental damage of your choosing. I'm gonna say lightning, and they lose any resistances they would have had to it for an hour, depending on your concentration. This would have been really great to have back in quick play when you could do a 6 stack of Winstons. I really miss the good old days. 8th level wizards get another ability score improvement. We need more strength to really swat the bad guys around like flies. For this level spell, Stone Skin lets you give a creature resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for an hour. Your armor takes less damage than your HP does. This will give you the defensive bonuses of a rage a little bit before we can get the offensive side of a rage. Go back to 3rd level for protection from energy, giving a creature resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage for an hour depending on your concentration. God forbid you have to fight another Winston, but if you do, this will help you deal with the lightning damage. 9th level wizards can learn 5th level spells. Legend lore lets you know more about a person, place, or thing of legendary renown. The more you already know about it, the more information you get. Obviously, you're a brainy boy, but this will take it to supernatural levels. Skill empowerment lets you give a creature expertise with a skill they're proficient with for an hour, doubling their proficiency bonus. Since legend lore doesn't require concentration, you can cast these together for a supercharged arcana or history check before you legend that lore. If your DM doesn't tell you every piece of information down to the blood type and favorite ice cream flavor of the person you're looking for, they're the one metagaming, not you. 10th level abjuration wizards get improved abjuration, letting you add your proficiency bonus to the checks you make with counterspell or dispel magic. That's a plus 11, meaning on an 8 or higher, you shut down any type of spell. Oh, also you could use Flash of Genius for that to be plus 16. No ults allowed while you're playing, except for the ones on your team, obviously. For this level spell, Telepathic Bond gives up to 8 willing creatures the ability to speak telepathically with each other for an hour. If you don't think that's worth a 5th level slot, clearly you've never tried to play competitive when nobody is on mic. Intellect Fortress is a 3rd level spell, but it gives creatures resistance to psychic damage and advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws to avoid hold person, banishment, and a plethora of other spells. It's good stuff, and it charges your arcane ward, so double victory. 11th level wizards can finally use your ult, which makes sense. It is your best ability, debatably. Tensor's Transformation gives you 50 temporary HP, advantage on attacks made with weapons, an extra 2d12 of force damage with all of your weapon attacks, including unarmed strikes, proficiency with strength saving throws, and some other stuff you already had for about 10 minutes depending on your concentration. For the duration, you cannot cast other spells, though your ward would still be up and isn't temporary HP, so it could stack with the temporary HP you get. When it's over, you have to make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or take a level of exhaustion, but that's fine. You've got peanut butter back at the lab for that. If turning into King Kong isn't your thing, first of all, what's wrong with you? But you could also use Chain Lightning to force a dexterity saving throw on creatures within 150 feet of you and 3 creatures within 30 feet of that first creature, dealing 10d8 lightning damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed, for a giant area of lightning damage. Our capstone is the 12th level of wizard for one last ability score improvement. Get that strength score up a little bit higher. It's a little bit of a shame that we can't cap it, but oh well, you're still pretty great. For your last 2 spells, go nuts. Seriously, whatever you want. The video's already going a little long, and I have everything a growing ape needs. Speaking of, now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're great at reducing damage. Just using your first level slots, you can cast Shield 4 times per short rest, which also gives you 29 points of damage reduction each time you cast it, and sets your AC to 24. That's really nice. You're also super mobile, letting you jump in to defend your friends when you need to. Finally, you have a ton of support spells to keep your whole team doing better. For weaknesses, going bananas isn't all that good. Turns out when you play a class that can make the most advanced technology in the game, throwing that on the ground to slap things isn't great. You also don't have that much health for a tank. Even though you do reduce damage, you've got barely over 130 HP. Not exactly ideal. Finally, investing more in Artificer would have let us get truly busted with infusions and only 2 more levels. You don't really need Chain Lightning, and Tensor's transformation isn't that great on this build. But you do need those things if you want to be Winston. If you want to jump in, throw the shield down, and peel back the peaceful facade when you need to, this is what you gotta do. Just watch out for characters with enough damage to break your shields. The seasons don't fear the Reaper, but you probably should. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.